What's up, DigiDestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're not having one regional, we're not having two regionals, but we're having three regionals on one major event. So that means 48 decks to really just look at, but we're gonna break it down a little bit just so that it's not too hectic of a 50-minute video where we're looking at all the decks and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is check the couple top of their list sets, and then I'm going to look at random decks that really enticed me and what excites me to see that we have in the top 16. So without further ado, let's dive into the video and talk about it. So first off, I was finally, after a little bit, we finally got all the lists I needed for the regional event. I know I need to get the Ultimate Cup and then one final of the DC ones from GenCon's event list this weekend. And then this file will be completely up to date with all the deck profiles and lists, so definitely check back at a later date or check for the second video where it's just going to be DC 1 in-person regional and then the Ultimate Cup in-person regional. I will not be counting the online best of one on that Friday that happened. That one was we're gonna just close that book and not talk about it kind of situation. I feel like that event was a real shit show, so it's just something we're not gonna talk about. So let's dive in and really talk about it here though. MetalGarurumon X took 13 of the 48 decks. That means MetalGarurumon is actually doing a lot better than Alphamon in its real debut meta, where Alphamon really showed heavily favoritism in BT09's format in Japan. But that was also because MetalGarurumon didn't have access to the favored, promos cards that they wanted. The WarGreymon and the Garurumon is such a benefit for that list that it's not even funny. So it needed that to begin with. We have Grandis also in the top 3. It took 7 slots, which is pretty big. I was not expecting that many. I was expecting a lot less, but after we get all the information in, I think we should see a grand total where Grandis is probably on the lower end scale. I know we had a lot of D-Reapers that topped in the other couple events and stuff like that, so it's just something to really look into and look forward to in the next video. So we also have 2 Security Control, 2 WarGreymon X, 2 Gaiomon, 2 MetalGarurumon, 2 D-Reaper, 2 Armor Rush, 1 Beelzemon, 1 Ancient Grey, 1 Green Hybrid, 1 Mastemon, and 1 Commandramon. All in the top 16 of this 48 decks. So it's really impressive that this is how it broke down, and I feel like this is a good representation, and it's good to see where the decks are lying. So first off, looking at Friday's event, we had 5 alphas, 4 MetalGarurumon, 2 Security Control, 1 Beelzemon, 1 Grandis, WarGreymon X, D-Reaper at 1, and Armor Rush. So not bad for Friday's event. Then for Saturday's regional, we had MetalGarurumon X taking 6 slots, which might be because most people probably got off of Security Control, or it's just very fine. It depends on your local meta. If you're going to be going into a lot of Security Control, you're going to need the heroes and you're going to need a DP. So just keep that in mind when you're deck building and stuff like that. Even though MetalGarurumon shined here, it probably didn't face as heavy of a Security Control threat because the only big bad in that format was Mastemon in the top 16. It wasn't like we had a few Security Controls and stuff like that. So Grandis at 2, 1 AncientGreymon, 1 Green Hybrid, which surprising to me, even that deck. But that deck was more of a US design. I mean, NA players, English players side of the events that kind of came up with this list. So I kind of see where it was going. Like, Japan didn't even get this list, I don't think. I can't find it even in JPs. So it's just something to work with. Then you have MetalGarurumon X, MetalGarurumon X, MetalGarurumon X. That's pretty solid there. And then Mastemon, Armor Rush, MetalGarurumon X, WarGreymon X, Commandramon, and Alphamon. So even with this event, Alphamon wasn't like the top end, which really surprising to see. It only made 16th. Well, Congratulations, by the way, to everybody that made it. Mario was one of the top dogs here with his AncientGreymon List, which, cool. Let's move on to the Sunday event. This was the online regional, so it's a little more different entity. Online regionals are always a little different. In my opinion, they don't always follow the same because of differences on how things are cut, how things are panned out. So we have Alphamon, Garurumon X, Gaio, Alpha. So we got 5 Alphamons, MetalGarurumon X at 3, Grandis at 4, Gaio at 2, ImperialDramon at 2. If you notice, this was the only place where ImperialDramon shined the most. So definitely something to look at for data-wise. That's why it's important to look at all the results when we get those in. So that'll be the next video related to Ultimate Cup and the DC ones. So that's just what we're going to look at. Now let's get into the deck profiles themselves. For Friday's event, we're going to look at Grayson's first place Friday event. So it's kind of a stock list. We're not seeing anything too crazy here. We're at 11 rookies, which is actually pretty solid in my opinion. Kaido at 1, 3 Yuja, 4 Cool Boys, Oriyumon's at 3, Alphamon's at 3, 3 Oryukin modes. I mean, it's a very stock list. There's not going to be anything too crazy here. Most lists are adding at least 2 Congos just because shuts down recovery plays, especially against security control. That's really punishing. And then you have Breath of the Gods, which makes it so DP reduction or returning to the owner's hand or deck is off limits, and giving you a reboot that helps out a lot. So it's just a lot of positive power here in the making. So I think this is pretty solid stock list. Anything else would be too crazy. And then the Grumble 1 for the hybrid for games. Sometimes that's all you need to win the game. This was also where Tanner definitely surprised a lot of players with Beelzemon actually taking second place on Friday. So what's really interesting about this list, it's actually uses the hybrid package to get to the goal. Since there's not a lot of heavy tamer answers in this tournament, I think this was a pretty solid call. Gaiomon really being the only deck that would just probably hurt your Kanochis and Ayamakos, stuff like that. So what I see with this list is 4, 8, 10 Impmons, which isn't bad, especially this one to recycle back your Beelzemons and get you pieces that you need. You know, Impmon as well. Impmon, for if you hit him, he's going to mill. That's pretty awesome. Then they have Lowimon, which to digivolve on top of your tamers. Kaiser Leo, just for that retaliation, which is really nasty sometimes. Really solid. I mean, look at Kanochi here. On play, draw 1, then trash 1 card. What I can see definitely happening was that the idea behind Kanochi is that you're going to be, if you have Blast Mode in, you can play a Kanochi and just get it out of your hand and set up your Beelzemon play and then get it out. So, and then you can just climb in with your Beelzemon here up all the way from Reihimon. You know, Kanochi to Reihi is really cheap. It's 3 and then you get the Beelzemon. So it lets it so that if you can really need to, you can keep an Impmon and raising and then warp into this Beelzemon if they answered this Beelzemon that might have went into a blast mode. So it's just things that might seem very interesting to me, and that really starts putting into a retrospective that I wasn't expecting. Especially with Kaiser Leo going on top of Kanochi. Giving your Beelzemon retaliation until the end of your opponent's next turn could definitely lead to very positive outputs in the game, where that could definitely win you the game. So it's just really interesting to see, you know, Doberman to cycle back tamers and stuff like that. Even if Kanochi dies, you're getting a memory off of it. Ayamako, your memory setter, and being able to get into blast mode really does help out. Calling from Darkness to cycle back key pieces, really important. Miss Memory Boost, you know, that trash 2 draw card and then gaining 2 memory later can really help out. Death Stinger control piece and then milling is just very important. But all in all, great deck. Very good Tanner. Next, we got Max's list. So what's really interesting about Max's list is he's playing Davis, which I get it. It's a draw +1. I mean, in this list, that's huge. Especially sometimes you just need that draw, and that can get you to the pieces you need. You know, it's another green memory boost, basically, situation, but it at least sets you to 3. And if it's hidden security, it's really more of a plus, because now that could get you to the pieces you needed sooner than later. Yokomon's just being Yokomon, Digibursting stuff out. Terriermon's being your opponent can't gain memory. That's for the Alphamon matchup, really. You know, punish them hard for it. Lalamon is basically when it's Digiburst out, you can set up for another Yokomon play. Especially having a rotating rookie in your lineup that can just keep coming back really does help out. Kokuamon, just straight up searcher for your deck, helps out. You have Palmon here for jamming, really does come in useful. Weedmon is when this Digimon is trashed due to activation in this Digimon's Digiburst, gain a memory. I mean, Kabuterimon just for that. You can just build up a stack and a half with just Kabuterimon and raising. I mean, you go Yoko, let's say Palmon, Weedmon, then Kabu, and then go into an Akuamon promo afterwards. You can just now gain, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sources. So that means +4 on a GrandisKuwagamon Digiburst, which is a very high possibility it can happen. So worst case, you gain a bunch of security checks. Best case, you have an out in most situations. So, I mean, Grandis is going to do what Grandis is going to do. Grandis is going to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then your opponent's Digimon, you can at least swing in with piercing, applying pressure. Just, it's got a lot of crazy shenanigans, and it's a really powerful deck. But it has its consistency issues, and that's always going to be where it comes from. So, great job, Max. Did a great job. 9th place, Jimin. Sorry if I screwed up your name, but you did a really good job being one of the few Magna X Antibody players to actually make top 18. So that's pretty good. I mean, there was 2 lists, but this was the highest Magna player in the tournament. So, I mean, if looking at it, Fire Rocket's really good. What is really awesome is they're playing the armor texture, which my friend Winter would 100% get behind. Armor texture is something you need in this list. It helps speed up the list, helps go faster, and that can just really apply a lot of damage and pressure pretty quickly. So, just something to really look forward to. And Awakening the Golden Digizord really does help out. Just because now, let's say you go Armor Texture into the Magna, you swing in, at least then you have, you know, Golden Digizord goes into Magnamon X. Not a bad trade-off, actually. All in honesty, there's just really great powers here. Davis, you know, the Searcher, Davis and Ken to restand your, you know, guys here. That's really important, especially your multicolors. Vmon gaining you extra memories. Vmon for the draw. Vmon for the search. Vmon for the jamming. Vmon with revealing the top 3 out of free. Which is funny to me. They're both even. I would go for 4 of this because go for broke. Multicolor is just too important. 2 Pyldramon really does help out in the end game. But all solid around trip here. Hammerspark, Megadeth, Ice Walls. I really applaud you here. Very solid list here. Then the 4th place with Rebecca. Rebecca did a fantastic job. She getting 4th place with WarGreymon X is no joke. It is a very hard climb. Outside of this, I don't see anything too crazily. You got the Koromons here that you want. You got a Agoremon for draw, so you're just going to get the advantage you need because this deck needs to draw. Agumon Searcher for the search. Agumon X Antibody for that on-play when Digivolving reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Greymon or Omnimon in its name, and 1 X Antibody among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck. Just great power trying to get that X Antibody option, and just a Greymon or Omnimon really comes in handy. Agumon for that boost of power you need to swing in with. Greymon with that boost of power, really solid. And especially, it's a free evolve on top of your Agumons. Well, it has, well, not free, but at least a 1-cost evolve. And then, to be honest with you, if you had it out and then you can go into Greymon X Antibody with a Cool Boy on board, that's instantly even more free value. Just all in all, great free value. Greymon with extra security checks. X Antibody giving you that. MetalGameGreymon X Antibody giving that extra oomph you need, that extra security check. And then, you know, this Digimon gets plus 3,000 DP until the opponent's end turn. Really does help out, especially if you get the X Antibody underneath it. Then you have MetalGameGreymon with a piercing. Helps control even when he just swings in. When this Digimon attacks a player, delete one in their 4,000 DP. Shuts off any of those weird janky cards. MetalGameGreymon Alterius mode. Just being able to pop things, and that beautiful 0 cost on top of a MetalGameGreymon really does help out. You know, just things to think about here. And what's really nice is it treats itself as a MetalGameGreymon. I mean, the self-protection really does help out. WarGreymon, piercing with security checks, and when this Digimon doesn't activate security, helps in those security control matchups. WarGreymon X Antibody, you know the drill here. Just get that extra turn back to you. Sometimes that's all you need. Omnion with Blitz, blitzing for game. Red Mem Boost, searches your out pieces. Gaia Force, it seems like people are starting to tech in options for removal, which is starting to be a smart play because if you don't have the removal, what are you doing? Most people are just swinging in for nothing on the dollar for their wins, and that's getting ridiculous. X Antibody, just being able to warp into the other pieces. Tai Kamiya, you know, the extra security check game. And then Cool Boy draws, Searcher, you know, game memory. Very powerful all-around deck. Very good job, Rebecca. Alex, definitely with that security control, which is very interesting to me. I mean, I like the Salamon aspect, the Magna Angemon aspect, Junomon, just to be able to cycle back your Avenged Kidmon. Sakuyamon basically shuts down most OTK decks for a turn because they have to remove the Sakuyamon first, because that -3 security checks really is a pain. Death X to control boards. Ultimate Flare, if they get through your Sakuyamon, at least now you can de-digivolve them down, and that can really get you to a tight spot, especially if it gets down to maybe their champion and they just played a champion the turn before and they didn't really go up. Now they're in this weird predicament. So Ultimate Flare is really powerful. Swart Laginger for anything with a level 5, just to kill off. 3 Karis of the Memory Gainer, and then 2 Karis of the Security Stack Hitter, and then 2 Mimis to reduce your option costs, which gets ridiculous pretty quickly. You know, even Darkness Wave, trash 3 cards. If you have a yellow Digimon in play, return 1 purple or yellow Digimon card from your trash to your hand. I mean, Flame Hellscythe. When one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP for the turn, then you may play 1 purple or yellow card with 6,000 DP or less from trash without paying its memory cost. Holy Wave, if hit, they're just going to be dealing with this card. Recovery is ridiculous. Eden's Javelin for draw, minusing. Reinforced Mem Boost, searching the top. Wyvern's Breath, just remove whatever the heck you don't like. Holy Flame, all your opponent's Digimon gets -1 security check. Chaos Degradation, place one of your opponent's Digimon face down at the bottom of your opponent's security stack. If you do, trash the top card of their security stack. So you basically get rid of gatekeepers or anything that's annoying to you. And then it's just basically a recovery 1 if hidden security on your opponent's turn. I mean, all in all, great stuff here. Viximon is definitely the go-to for security control. That draw does help out. And then for Saturday, we have Brandon taking a W here. I mean, it's a very stock list. I don't see anything too crazy here. This MetalGarurumon's a little interesting to me, so when attacking, play a level 4 or lower Digimon card under this Digimon as another Digimon without paying its memory cost. So basically what I can see what's happening here is, depending on the setup and depending on what needs to be done, maybe pulling out a Madoki Beta, grabbing Gabumon X Antibody, set up there. I mean, very much high possibilities of things happening here. I don't know why you don't just go straight up with this, but I mean, you're gonna do what you need to do, right? You got Ice Wall to shut down OTK turns, X Antibodies for that push turns, Cool Boy being Cool Boy that rest and draw and search out pieces, Davis to help search for pieces you need, Blue Mem Boost searches for basically everything in this deck minus the Omnimon. I mean, the deck is self-explanatory. You're going to have Garurumon here that draws you a card, and then you have it underneath this WarGreymon so that you constantly just keep attacking, gain resources, draw, and hopefully you're hitting 8 on the next swing. Then you'll swing in with this WarGreymon with the extra boost of power and stuff like that. Applying pressure as you climb up. Just really good all-around support. Then let's talk about it. Mario's AncientGreymon List. He posted a video on this, so I won't go too crazy in depth, but it's just basically hide and raising or plan accordingly with this, because either if you don't have the Burning Greymon set up with the Agunimon climbing up just to get that 5 checks, you can have a way of hoping that your security is strong enough, because Crimson Blade really punishes any D-Reaper. This punishes any OTK deck. This is Lightning Joust. You know, if you go down too low, your AncientGreymon can just clear out, and then most of the time they can't win or come back. Because if they get rid of your AncientGreymon, you're getting a boy out anyway. And then you have Analog Youth, who's basically helping search for your pieces. I see where this deck can do and where it shines. I mean, Aldermon is basically the only reason this deck is crazy, because shutting down options is huge. I mean, it hits magic numbers. It hits 14, but your heroes is what's going to push it to like 16 and stuff like that. So, all in all, great deck, great run. I mean, the searchers are here, you know. It's nothing too crazy and spicy. Noah, great job on taking the W here with, you know, Green Hybrid. Nothing, like, it's still the same deck. We haven't really changed in format. Cherrymon to help block opponent's push turn really does help out. The deck can do shenanigans. Ancient Troymon, I'm guessing for the restanders. Decks that just like to restand. Now you can just go like, nah, bro, you're going down. You stay down. You don't climb back up. So, if they swing again, just stuff to think about there. Ancient Beetlemon can just clear out threats. As long as it's not bigger than it, that's where you have to worry about. If it's bigger than it, you're kind of screwed. Kalamon's just really powerful, so when one of your Digimon Digivolves, you may suspend this Digimon, gain 1 memory, draw a card, have one of your Digimon get plus 3000 DP for the turn. That's where your Ancient Beetlemon's going to get that extra oomph behind, because that's the only way you're going to have sometimes to get over some of the big guys. Outside of that, you know, Izzy's here, so you gain memory. JP's for reduced Digievolution climbing. Mimi's just for comboing. Rapidmon's just going to be that 3-cost evolve on top of your Terrier, which could be even reduced by Kalamon's effect. So, just all in all, great support here. The deck is still fine. And then we have Daniel playing the basic stock list of, you know, Mother D-Reaper. You know, you're going to be searching out. You're going to be drawing one of the most consistent decks of the format, just because it's got one line of play. Play a searcher, draw. Play a searcher, draw. Play a searcher, draw. Play this guy to get a searcher so you can draw again. You know, all of it's just constant draw. And when a deck is just majority draw, that's where the value comes in. I mean, Starmon, just to remove any of the Psychmon threats, is really important. Death X to control the board. All in all, great, good, clean stuff. You got, like, Gatekeeper, Reaper. You name it, you got it. So, and then we have Brent with Mastemon, the only Mastemon to reach the top 8 slots. I mean, the top 16 slots all weekend, by the way, for regionals. So, I mean, we have Regulamon with Odinimon. Odinimon just clears boards by itself. When Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. One of your opponent's Digimon, level 6 or higher Digimon, and all their level 5 or lower Digimon. For each Digimon deleted, recovery 1. This really doesn't help out against the Reaper matchup, but the Psychmon is supposed to be there to punish that. So, outside of that, it's just going to be drawing a lot of cards. Mako is a welcoming addition, because all turns, when you play a two-color purple or yellow Digimon, you may suspend this tamer, gain a memory. I mean, just how ridiculous it is, because Maykrakmon, excuse my language, Veracis mode is if you have 2 or more colors, gain 2 memory. Then you have Maykumon, so if this Digimon has 2 or more colors, gain 2 memory. So most of our top end is literally 2 colors. So there's never a chance it's not. And then you have Zord Defeat. I mean, Flame Hellscythe, just playing your May, Crackmon. You know, Lucemon Chaos Mode gets rid of things. Just all in all, good stuff in this list. I mean, Gatomon's going to search you majority of your pieces. Neo Devimon, I can see it now just because most players, especially against, you know, Alphamon lists, they got to play a Tamer. They're passing your turn. That 2-cost Tamer just cost them 5. That 3-cost Tamer just cost them 6. That 4-cost Tamer just cost them 7. I can see where it was coming from and why they wanted to play it. But also you got Chaos Degradation. It's just a really powerful deck. Now we have Alex's, you know, beautiful Commandramon list. So we have Mishimon, you know, Pagumon for that draw, Commandramon blocker, Chichurimon, basically digivolving threats off board. You got Chumon for that makes it preventing the Alphamon player from continuing. Hergurumon for that draw, Commandramon, Grumble for game, Darkdramon. Death Xmon is just a powerhouse in its own. Ultimate Flare, if they hit that, they're going to have a bad day. Kongu just shuts down any low-end swingers, and they can't recover. Pride Mem Boost, just what you want to do. Then you have Izzy. Then you have Kazu. You know, all the draw potential. This list is good. It's not going anywhere. I think we'll see more Commandramon players come out of the woodworks as they keep finding their deck. And then we have Sundays, Joseph's top first deck. Playing 2 Sanzorimon, really solid tech choice to get the extra security earlier, but no real difference except for having Greymon in here. So because as long as the inheritable, if this Digimon has Alphamon in his name, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost 5 or less. This can help out ridiculously just because that memory blocker is what's preventing you from probably building a second stack. Now let's talk about it. Second place, Kyle. I know, not me, but Antibody, MetalGarurumon. Nothing too crazy here. Got 1 Cocytus Breath and then 3 Hammer Sparks. I'm not behind that, but still a great job. And then 1 Madoki Beta. I mean, the deck's going to OTK, and then it has a young Analog Youth. I'm more surprised this deck functioned. I mean, this deck crazily did things, and I'm impressed. And congratulations. And then Gaiomon. Gaiomon actually taking 3rd on Sunday with Mario. Not Mario's Gaming World, but a Mario in itself. So, just all in all, good stuff here. I mean, Cool Boys, Nokias, Ties. I mean, this is what's probably helping you a lot because this can answer Mother so easily. But it's just powerhouse deck, and your opponent's not going to see it coming. I really think this is a very solid list here. And then finally, we had the top 8th place with Imperial Dramon. All in all, great stuff. I see where the plug-in A comes in for because Imperial Dramon can just swing with 2 security checks while jamming. If they don't have an option security, you're probably clearing everything, and then you just set up for game. And that's just how that's going to play out. So, I think this is pretty solid. I think this is pretty nuts. So, I mean, you got Labramon for jamming, gain a memory, so it keeps it your turn, and you're hoping for the best here. I mean, all in all, good stuff. I'm not going to complain, but that was all the list. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!